beautiful about marriage is the comfort of knowing that there is somebody who is there to support you. That comfort of knowing there is somebody who is for you no matter what, somebody who has your back. I think that is the most beautiful thing about marriage.
Make your husband have his place. When you're wrong, make sure you apologize. Every man has an ego, and you don't want to walk all over his ego.
After the wedding, you know, most people prepare for the wedding and they don't prepare for the marriage. That is one thing that people make a mistake. Now here is the marriage. I think for me, I had two big culture shocks. Because one, I am a person who really likes when the doors are closed, all of them. The kitchen, the everything, every door, I like them closed. Now here I am in marriage, I am living with somebody I've never lived with before. Now I find every door is open. every door, the kitchen door is open, the bedroom door is open. That was one of the biggest culture shock I had in my entire life. Now the first 2 weeks was for complaining about the doors. Babe, close the doors, and that was one of the biggest. The other big culture shock was I am one person who really likes preparing things for myself. I like preparing my clothes, I like preparing my shoes, I like knowing where are my things. But now here I am married now, that is no longer my work. Now somebody is here, she has to pick clothes for you. So I think most of the time she will pick something for me to wear, and I say no, I am not wearing that one. I pick another one. That was one thing that we really had to adjust. We really had to. I had to tone it down and allow her to do it. And maybe if she picks a trouser I don't want, I tell her, how about I do this one? So those are two big culture shocks I had. So those are adjustments that I had to tell myself that I really need to live them. And until today, I no longer talk about the doors. I think that I just adjusted. I no longer talk about the doors. I find them open. I just shut them myself. I will not have to go and tell her close the door. So those are the big adjustments that I really had to make. Of course, most of the time when you are getting to marriage, you're never told. People think it's a bed of roses, you are going to enjoy yourself. But of course, there are going to be misunderstandings, because don't forget, you have never lived together. Yeah. This is somebody coming with the way of doing things from her side, and this is you with your way of doing things. So most of the time you are going to find that there are some misunderstandings. But one thing I used to tell her, and I keep telling her, is that marriage is a decision. It is a decision. You wake up every day, make a decision to love each other. And I kept telling her, let us love each other more than we are seeing the mistakes, more than we are seeing the disagreements. Because when you focus with the disagreements and all that, you forget to love each other. So I think one of the biggest things we have had to learn is to love each other. You know, all these disagreements are external. Yeah. So I kept reminding her, we are the people, we are the most important people in everything. So that is how we have been able to cope with these disagreements. And the other thing I keep telling my wife is that marriage is kept 80% by wisdom. Wisdom, you know when to speak, how to speak, and when not to speak. So I think that is one of the ways that have really helped us to deal with disagreements.
There is a way we communicate, and you'll find when maybe I have done something that has made him angry, I'll want to talk about it right now, but I will not, because I know if I start talking about it right now, he'll get more angry than he is. So what I do, I let it sit, let him cool down, and then after he's okay, but we'll not sleep over it. After he's okay, before the day ends, that is when now we can come and talk. And I'll make sure how I start my conversation will not trigger his anger again. So I'll make sure if I will start to sweet talk him, so that I'm able to, you know, if I'm the one who wronged him, I will sweet talk him, then apologize. because you know, if I start with an apology directly, he will remember what I did. So first I will sweet talk him, change the environment, change the way he's thinking, and then now I can apologize. And then from there we can talk about it and know this is something I should never do again, or this is something that should never happen. This is the way I should go about it next time, so that we can avoid such a scenario again. So that is how most of the time we do our communication.
I think when it comes to decision making, we as a couple, we really try to involve each other. I try not to make a decision without consulting my wife, because you'll go outside there and there's a decision you have to make. I am the kind of person who says, let me consult my wife. Because you see, when you're building a marriage or a home, you're not building it alone. So it is very hard for you to just wake up and make decisions. And I would even consult her for the smallest decisions, because at the end of the day, anything I do or anything she does is going to affect the both of us, is going to affect our future, our children. So when it comes to decision making, we really try to consult each other. And I try to hear her side of the story, because you know, I cannot just come and say I have made the decision. I am not the only person in this relationship. So I try to listen to her, hear what she has to say about it, then we come up with a conclusive decision together as a couple. It's something that will work both for the both of us and also for our children.
So when it comes to deciding about finances, ours started a long time ago, back when he proposed, when he made sure, when I was sure he was serious, and he was sure that when I've said yes, we're sure about this journey. So from then we started being open about our finances, so it never became a problem. So if it is discussing our finances, we do it together. How do we budget? How do we set aside our money? So even when we were spending for the wedding, he was aware of everything. So if it's the gown, we are doing with this amount of money. If it is the grounds, some of the things that we catered for before the wedding plans, together with everyone else involved, started. So we could plan, like budget, we have this money. What do we pay for? What don't we pay for right now? So it still happens even today. We have this amount of money right now. This goes for this, this goes for this. So we decide on it together, so that maybe it happens that, you know, there is a disadvantage of babe, you will sort rent, you'll do maybe token, you'll do a few things, and then me, I'll do shopping. You know, what happens when I this month I don't have anything? What happens? Will he say it's this shopping is for you, it's not for me? No. So we make it our business to sort everything together, and if we are budgeting together. There are a lot of work, especially when you're expectant, and you'll find that I'm unable to do everything. So I actually didn't expect him to help me, and he did. I could, you know, you go to work, he goes to work. When we come back, we're both tired. So I have to do a few things. I have to cook, I have to do chores. But you'll find when I'm cooking, he's helping me, or when I'm doing the chores, he's helping me cook. So from the beginning of our marriage, when he feels that maybe that week, you know, a man would see when you're drained, and when he sees I am drained, he will tell me, babe, let me help you today. So there are things he will do, and there are things I will still do.
I am one kind of a person that does not really say this is the work of a woman. I think that might be because I have been brought up with ladies. I am the only boy in our family, so I have grown up doing a lot of these things. I've washed utensils, I've washed clothes, I've cooked. So I am not the kind of person that says I cannot cook. It is a woman thing. I cannot wash. Sometimes I'll wake up and take the clothes and wash them, because now she's at work. Clothes are there, they cannot stay dirty. She maybe I know her schedule. Maybe she'll be busy, extremely busy this week. So I it's just an easy thing. I am not the kind of person that says I would say I don't have that big ego that I cannot be able to help my wife with some of these things. I cook, I wash utensils, I take care of the laundry. There's nothing, absolutely nothing I cannot do, because the way I'm brought up is a way of helping each other. And when you're in a marriage, it is not something that only one person can do. You try to do everything to make the both of you comfortable, because it is not our work to make me comfortable. It is both our work to make each other comfortable. So I really don't have a problem with that, and I'm not the kind of person that says nitakaliwa. I think that is not me. I am very comfortable with doing everything. I will even change my daughter's diaper. I have no problem at all. I feel like I am doing what I'm supposed to do to help my family and to take care of my family. What we do to relax when we are not working or when we are not busy, I actually like watching movies. We watch a movie together. We watch movies, and we also try as much as possible to do Bible study together, because as people who really serve in church, we do Bible study together. And one thing we also do, we love taking walks together. We can take walks together, and naturally I'm a playful man. I am a very playful man, so you can just find us just playing around. We don't really like making it look so serious. I am serious on occasions. I am a very serious person on occasions, but in the house I am not really that kind of serious person.
The most amazing thing about being married to my husband is that I have a friend. You know, when you're single, you really, yes, you do have friends, but it's very hard to find friends who are for you. My husband is for me, so I know I have a friend who is for me. No matter what happens, he is for me. He will always defend me, no matter what the cost. He will be there for me. So I know I have a friend in him. I have a confidence. I have someone I can lean on. You know, there are times, maybe when you're single, you're at home, you feel maybe you're emotionally drained, and you feel you want to maybe vent on someone, you want to talk to somebody, and it's very hard, especially through a phone call. But when you have somebody with you, he understands, he connects with you at that moment, so you're able to release yourself and express yourself so well that by the time you're going to bed, you are okay. So I have a friend in him, I have a confidence in him, and I have a very good support system. I'll call him that, because I think he's the best. For me, he's the best in the whole universe. I couldn't have gotten any other man apart from him.
What is beautiful about marriage is the comfort of knowing that there is somebody who is there to support you, no matter what. You know, you can try friends, you can try everybody else, but at the end of the day, there is that person that you are going to go. It is only the both of you, and talk about anything. Talk about anything and everything. You can cry together. You can, as long as you are together, there's nothing you cannot do together. So I think that is the most beautiful thing about marriage. You are open with one another. There's nothing that is holding you back. Nothing that is holding you back. You can share anything and you can talk about anything. That comfort of knowing there is somebody who is for you. There's somebody who is there for you no matter what. Somebody who has your back. I think that is the most beautiful thing about marriage.
So there is a way I appreciate him, and there is one thing I have done for the past 1 week, and I have seen him. He's very happy. I have seen it work. So every time I wake up, I write a note before I leave. I make sure, because he might not see that note where I place it. So I take his phone, I put my fingerprint, I take a picture of it, and I don't press home. I leave it there, then lock the phone. So I know immediately he wakes up, when he opens his phone, he will see the letter I wrote. So I have been doing that, and I have seen he's been so happy. When we meet in the evening, you can see the joy, you know, because you will tell him, the thing he did, maybe there is a time maybe he did something for you, maybe you forgot to tell him, but when he sees you remember and it touched your heart, you know, he will feel like, hey, I did something for my babe, you know. Yeah.
I think when it comes to appreciating my wife, what I've really tried to do is giving her words of affirmation. You know, most men do not know how to really speak it out, but for me, I've really tried to give her words of affirmation. When she does something beautiful for me, I tell her that was beautiful, I loved it. When she cooks good food, I am the first person to comment that that food was sweet. And sometimes even if the salt is a little bit more than the food, I'll tell her the food is sweet, but hapo kwa chumvi hapo tuangalie. So I really try to give her words of affirmation. I try to be the first person to tell her you're looking good today. I try to be the first person to tell her you're beautiful, because if you don't and somebody else does that, it is very bad. It is very bad. So I try to really use the words of affirmation, and I also try to leave her a text when she's at work, and when I'm at work, when we're not together, I would really just leave her a text. And I think that is something that has really worked for me and for us, just those words of affirmation, and hearing them come from me, straight from my mouth. I think that is something that has really helped me in appreciating my wife. I would say we had planned after our wedding we are going to stay for 1 year, then have a baby, but now we are blessed with one daughter. I think we didn't wait for 1 year, because after 9 months, I would say I was the first. I had a crazy baby fever. For me, I had a crazy baby fever. You'd find me watching baby videos on my phone. My Google search was how to change a diaper, how to and I had a crazy baby fever. So we sat down. I think it is always important for you to both agree whether the right time to have a baby. So we sat down and decided now we are ready to have a child, and we discussed about it and we agreed about it. Luckily for me, she also was ready for it. You know, you can have baby fevers and have them all by yourself.
Yeah.
So I think luckily for me, she was also ready for it, and we just decided. It was a decision we made that now we are ready to have a child.
Having a child will be determined by if you're psychologically prepared. Do you agree psychologically? Are you ready to raise a child, wake up at night, you know, having cries during the night? You know, you've heard people say babies cry. You know, not all babies cry, but prepare yourself for the worst. Babies cry, babies refuse to breastfeed, babies do this. Are you ready for all that? Are you going to multitask, or will you be able to handle being at work during the day and during the night you're awake? Will you be able to carry that child and walk during the day, and at night you'll feel uncomfortable sleeping? So these are the things maybe you would ask yourselves and know, is this something that we can handle? Are you financially ready? If you financially, because if you're not prepared and you've not planned well for a baby, then it's gonna be a hassle when it comes to providing for this baby. So things that you might consider are you psychologically ready, and are you financially ready, amongst other things.
When it comes to technology and affecting our marriage or affecting us as a couple, I would say I am more of a phone person than she is. I am more of a social media person than she is. You'll find me, I am more on Facebook than she is, or on any other platform than she is. So what we try to do is there's a time specifically we have set for us. When it is this time, we don't use our phones, because personally, I'm the one who is guilty of that most of the times. You'll find me, I'm a very vocal person on social media, being a pastor, being a psychologist. So you find I want to comment on so many things on social media. So there's a time that we have set Even it is this time, we don't use our phones, or when we want to talk, we don't use our phones. It is, she wouldn't talk to me and I'm on my phone. I wouldn't talk to her and she's on her phone. So how we try to handle social media is setting a time that at this time we don't use our phones unless it is a phone call that is an emergency, or you cannot talk to each other when you are on the phone, because she can even forget her phone, but I am always with my phone. I am always with my phone. And also we try to help each other. When she sees I am on my phone, she tells me, babe, so when she tells me that, I realize it is a concern, and as a wise person, you try and put it down. So I think we try to help each other when it comes to, actually I would say she tries to help me. I'm the culprit in this story. She tries to help me and tell me you are more on your phone, so I try to tone it down. And also that time, that frame of time really works for us. It is time to put our phones down, we put them down, and we don't touch them again unless it is a very important phone call.
About planning for our future, as we had mentioned maybe earlier, we started working together way back. So it's still the same thing. We're still trying to build something bigger for for our future, and also for our children. So you'll find we're working together, plan better, so that we can have, you know, it's very good when you children have something that you have prepared for them, or you've worked for it, so they have something they can call their families. So we work together so that we can give them a better future. And also just that we have one kid right now, that is not what that is not the number that we want to have in the next few years. But our maximum is just 3. Kienda sana ni 3. So as we plan for our 3 kids, you know, it's something that you'll have to, for their education, make sure that you have planned before they start school. They have their own accounts before they get to 3 years. So at least we have a plan for them. You just don't wait until you're married and you, after 2 years now is when you start thinking about your future. Immediately you start courting, and you know you're sure, and you're pretty sure about your journey. You can start planning for your future, because you will need resources. You will need so many things to work together or to build. So you start where you feel you guys are ready now to work together and move together.
The advice I would like to give people who want to get into marriage, or people who are already in marriage, is number one, don't get into marriage with expectations, because I know the Bible says the expectation of the righteous shall not be cut short. But when you get into marriage with so many expectations, remember, this is somebody I've never lived with. This is somebody who for 20-something years they have been doing things the way they know how. So if you get into marriage with so many expectations, they might not be met. So I think when you get into marriage, just put every expectation down, then start building, start looking at what can work for the both of you. I think that is one of the advices that I would give people who want to get into marriage. Number two, I think is have somebody who is really your friend. You know, most of the people jump into marriage, forget this part of friendship. I think marrying somebody who is your friend is important, because sometimes you wake up in the morning and you don't want to see each other. You don't want to talk to each other. These are things that happen in marriages, and most people do not want to talk about them. So, but when you have somebody who is your friend, that friendship will sort of bind you together, and you're like, I want to talk to my friend. Before you want to talk to your wife, you want to talk to your friend. And then another thing I think I would say is try to really communicate to each other. There's a difference between speaking and communicating. Try at least to get the intent of what your partner is talking about and communicate to that intent. Try as much as possible to communicate to each other. And I keep telling guys, don't really rely on phone conversations. Try to have real conversations, face to face, looking at each other. And I think the last thing I would say is really try to build your marriage around God. Because the Bible says, for us who are Christians, the Bible says that it is God who saw it was not good for man to be alone. So the idea of marriage initially was the idea of God. So if you build your marriage outside God, it really might not go far, because the idea of marriage was God's idea. I think those are the advices I would give somebody who's getting to marriage.
What I'll tell the ladies, they should not rush. Wait until you feel you're ready for marriage. If you rush, you're not sure what you're going to encounter in marriage. Whatever comes, how will you handle it, and you are not ready? So wait until you feel, now I think I am ready for marriage, so that whoever will come and is serious, you will not start beating around the bush, wasting their time, yet you thought you were ready. Another thing maybe I will say is that marriage works. Marriage works. There is nothing that is too hard in marriage. There is nothing that you cannot solve in marriage. Be very humble, honor your husband, respect him. These men love to be respected. They love to be honored. You see, it doesn't mean that when he tells you something, he's commanding you. He is the head. We cannot be two heads in the same house. I have to give him his place. He has a place in our house, and so make your husband have his place. When you're wrong, make sure you apologize. Every man has an ego, and you don't want to walk all over his ego, because when your man is down, you will never bring him up again. So you always have to lift your man. Make sure that your man feels he's the man of that house. And it doesn't mean that when he's the man, you're like a house help in that house. No. Just respect him, love him, show him that he is the head. Give him his place. Protect him. The one thing that I know, I can never believe in anyone else apart from my husband. He's the man. No matter how much you scream to my ear, this is the man I believe, because he's the one I trust more. So when you come to tell me anything, I believe in my husband. I will wait upon what he will say. That is what I will buy. He is for me. He will never say something that is against me. So believe in your man. Men have visions. Push his vision. And when his vision is pushed and is up there, all of you will feel safe under him. He's the one to protect your family. So make him a better man. Make him a man that a society can accept. Make him a man that a society will see, this is a man. Yeah. Babe, you're my esposo. And I love you so much. And you know that you're the best husband, the best priest, the best pastor, the best father. You're the best decision I ever made in my life. And I will continue to tell you that there is no other person I would have chosen to do this journey with you. I love you, I treasure you, and every other day of my life, I want to do this journey with you. I want to wake up next to you. Yes, and I pray to God that He will give us more life together, more happy days ahead of us, and more successful days together.
From the first time I met you, I told you I was looking for somebody to marry, and I just want to thank you. Thank you for accepting my proposal. Thank you for accepting to do this journey together with me. Thank you for always having my back. Thank you for giving me an amazing, beautiful daughter. And I will choose you over and over again. If I was given that chance to choose again, I'll still choose you. As I keep telling you, you are my best friend. You are the woman I have chosen. It is a deliberate decision that I made to spend the rest of my life with you. Thank you for allowing me to be the priest of your house. Thank you for allowing me to be the father of your children. And I pray that God will satisfy us with long life, so that I can continue to pray for you, to cover you, to take care of you together with our children, and to build a great future together with you. Thank you so much for allowing me to be your husband. I love you, I treasure you, and I'll still say this even when I am 90. I love you.